As far as industry is concerned, apart from cottage industry, I think all industries are hazardous, dangerous, whether steel or aluminium. Like Bhutan, if you see the Bhutan, according to the economist, it may be one of the poorest country or underdeveloped country, but I think it is one of the most happiest country in the world.
There it was shown BL Sharma. His name is Professor Banwari Lal Sharma. Unfortunately, he is no more with us. But I believe the information that he shared with us is no longer does no longer hold. Actually, at that point of time when he said so, it looked that it is not going to be there. But let me also quote, there was one proposal of Soviet, not Soviet no longer, any longer. It is Russian nuclear reactors coming up in West Bengal, Haripur, which has been successfully nullified. There is, and even Kudankulam has fought quite tough and long. But at the end of the day, 2 nuclear reactors have come up and another 4 are in the pipeline, but the deal has still not been finalized. Similarly, in case of Jayatapur also there is quite strong popular opposition, but we don't really know whether they will be able to stop it. So far as the political parties is concerned, whether we like it or hate it, Sena is against the nuclear power plant, BJP is definitely for the power plant, and it was under Congress, the whole proposal was mooted. So it also depends actually in case of the West Bengal, the plan got nullified because Trinamool Congress came to power, they were committed to nullify it. Whatever be the other pluses or minuses of Trinamool Congress, the fact remains at the end of the day, the West Bengal nuclear power project that got cancelled. So it depends on various other factors. Everything is not within the hands of the activist on the ground at a particular place. Fine.
So sorry, what is the status of this power plant? The film that
The Hisar one.
Yeah, this has already 2 nuclear reactors are already there. One was actually that
Not working that.
no, one was already was commissioned last year itself, but now it has again stopped because of certain problems. We do not know how serious is this problem is till they restart it. But the fact remains, out of 2 nuclear reactors, one has gone online last year itself, but now it is closed down. And they are telling that it will take another 2 months. By December, it will be again online. But unless it is online, you do not know how true are their claims and or how valid are their claims. And the second one, actually this project has been delayed for too long. So we do not know when the second, they are telling within months it is going to be commissioned, but the months roll on to years and we do not really know unless it is done. And these Russian reactors have been actually been found very much substandard. So we do not know what is going to happen really. We can only hope that no disaster happens.
Before the nuclear reactor which was stopped there, it was 2 nuclear plants in Kerala was stopped. One is Kodamangalam, much earlier in the 80s. And again in the 80s in Peringam, because of people's movement, nuclear plant was stopped. But in Kudankulam, the struggle actually was in the beginning itself. In 89, there was a police firing also. I was also there at that time. When the police firing took place in 89, we had shot something at that time. But then people, because of the firing and all that, it was there was a fear among the people for some time, and also because of the Russian changes, Soviet Union changes, it was delayed for a time. But then it started very fast, and then people did not join initially because of the fear or the police firing and all that. But with at that time, I remember Uday Kumar was going around very alone. But suddenly, with all the support, all the people came, and it became a very powerful anti-nuclear movement, and it cannot be denied. It's a very important movement, whether it be the POSCO, what we saw in the first batch of film, or this one. Manmohan Singh has really wanted to crush two people's movements. One is POSCO and one is Kudungulam. He has repeatedly spoken about these two, but not other, thousands of other people's movements. He has not touched it at all.
There's this peculiar kind of blindness that I'm going back to the earlier films that we saw, and also a lot of films some of us have been seeing even since yesterday, where when we talk about the enemy of the people and the enemy of the state, these terms are used, bandied about, and we're finding ourselves in a situation where the films we've been watching, we're really seeing the enemy is the state, becoming of the enemy of the people is the state, is what is emerging in many, many, many situations and at many levels. It seems that, and to quote a line, I'm going to take a little bit of time just connecting some dots. To quote a line from GAON CHHODAB nahi, which we saw today, there's this line, Vikas ke Bhagwan batao kaise jaan bachaएं. तो now विकास के भगवान हम देखते हैं उस फिल्म में कि वो एक पॉलिटिशियन भी है और एक मिनिस्टर भी है और एक इंडस्ट्रियलिस्ट भी है और ये कैपिटलिस्ट क्रोनीज हैं और फिर एक मिलिटराइजेशन है, एक पुलिस राज है, और वो सब मिल के रिप्रेस कर रहे हैं, सप्रेस कर रहे हैं because somebody else is benefiting. And the long-term impact, nobody is bothering about. So that's what I mean by a peculiar kind of blindness, that one day this is going to come and kick you in the ass. But right now, you're managing. Because you're gaining something, though maybe you're doing it in their name, as has been discussed, in the name of the poor or the marginalized, but actually, yeah. So nobody's questioning it too closely, including perhaps, me or people like myself sitting in this room, where we are concerned, we see these films, but we continue with our privileges, and some of those privileges are, they're not hard-won privileges at all. They are privileges which are at the expense of, there's a connection between our lives, the way we are living them, and other people who are struggling to live their lives in a certain way. But when it comes to nuclear, so we're seeing this thread, whether in terms of whether we look at fundamentalism, whether we look at ecological devastation, whether we look at land grabbing and displacement. But when it comes to nuclear power, the arguments are so obvious that there's nobody stands to gain really, except in the very, very, very short term. There are all these things you all are bringing up, that how to dispose of nuclear waste continues to be a huge problem, and it's so well proven that this is a hugely problematic area, and still it's pushed down our throats. And then the alliances that form, where does that peculiar, that group, that fundamentalist group who's attacking the protesters in Amudan's film, they're not the kind of people you usually necessarily see being so aggressive in that kind of forum, but the link between a certain kind of majoritarianism and religious fundamentalism playing out in a protest against a nuclear plant is something that that gives you really a pause for thought. What are they doing there, and why are they there, and how are they defining the nation? So it's becoming a situation where this morning session we had panelists who talked about the state as an illusion. Now this illusion, because it's an illusion and because it eludes us also, we all define it in our own way. So there are some people who have decided that anybody who protests against anything which is being done in the name of Vikas is anti-national. And they have an idea of the state which is actually a non-idea. And but they have, so in all this, what seems to be interesting and positive is that what comes out in all the films, and what is very strongly foregrounded in Amudan's film, is women's role in these movements. over a long period of time, a people's protest continues in this fashion. Everybody gets more and more involved, everybody gets more and more literate about the issue. And the sort of collective nature of it and the equal involvement, and that would probably be changing, that would have a feedback into the society, that community itself becoming more gender egalitarian. And that's one thing. And the and the other thing is that it all seems to be heading towards some kind of breaking point. But is that also an illusion? Because actually, things get crushed, things get defeated, things continue. But there is so the Narmada dams get built, and this nuclear reactor gets, whatever the technical word is, it becomes operational. I'm sorry, and but that power of that people's movement, does it sort of, I mean, did the Narmada struggle perhaps at some level, somewhere, feed into the strength of this particular people's movement? And I mean, one hopes that is happening.